When I when I was flying when I was flying to Oklahoma, I had I had been unemployed for like a year and a half at that stage, roughly. My dad had died that the previous year, and so I was helping mum out with that sort of stuff, and I was moving backwards and forwards from Canada to Australia, and I was doing a bunch of things at home. I just didn't have the time or the opportunity to grab a job, so I had been unemployed for quite a while at that stage. Um, so I'm flying to Oklahoma. There are no flights straight from Sydney to Oklahoma City. You have to go via somewhere. I went via Houston. We flew in to Houston, or I flew into Houston. I had my backpack and my extra bag. My backpack, one of the pockets were full of coins. I just had heaps of coins of different currencies. They were all just thrown into one of the side pockets. And it went through the scanner, and the guy was like, "Oh, is this your bag?" I was like, "Yeah, this is my bag. Can I check it?" "Absolutely, you can check it." "Ah, see, there's lots of coins in here. You have to take all these coins out." I've been through 4 other airport security checks before this one in Houston, and this is the first time anyone had had any issue with the coins in this bag. But at that time, there had been a shooting in New Zealand, some religious thing. And so I'd just gotten off a plane. It had been about a 12-hour flight on the plane, and I just heard about it in passing, just before I got on the plane, or just as I got off the plane, or something like that. I saw like a news title, and this TSA guy was like, "Oh, did you hear what happened in your country?" Like, "Yeah, that was it, Marzi, that was it." "Did you hear what happened in your country?" I said, "What? No, that guy shot up all those people for the religious thing." It's like, "What? Oh, I think you mean New Zealand. I'm Australian." He's like, "Oh, same thing." And then he let me put my coins back into my bag, and I went onto the airport. I kept going, and I had to do a transfer to a different flight, of course. And so I had to go through another security check. And on this second security check, they like do a little interview to say, make sure you're not a terrorist or whatever, because of course you're going to admit to that if you were. And they said, "I noticed you put unemployed down. I noticed you put traveler down as a job." "Well, that's not a job." I was like, "Yeah, I've been unemployed for the last 13 months. My dad died. So I was helping mum out with that sort of stuff." And they say, "Oh, okay. And how are you paying for this flight? How are you paying for this trip?" "Oh, I've got savings. I'm going to, and where are you going?" "I'm going to Tulsa." Like, oh, apparently that's a red flag. Apparently no one ever travels to Tulsa, Oklahoma. So she said, "1 second." And she took me off to the side for a bit, and she got on the phone, and some guy walked past, and they said, "You're sending this one back." And she kind of laughs and says, I'm like, oh, okay. So maybe 5-10 minutes pass. She finally says, "Okay, I need you to go this way." Now, the connecting flight was very tight. I think I had 40 minutes to get from one plane to the other plane, and it had already taken me about 20 minutes, 25 minutes to get from that coin guy saying that New Zealand and Australia are the same place to this second security check. So they take me through this back secret door that nobody else is going through. They might have thought I was smuggling drugs. That's fair. And I had to stand in this line and wait. And I was waiting and waiting. It was finally my turn. I gave them my ticket, and they said, "Oh, that," because I didn't have my backpacks at this time, my check-in luggage. They said, "Oh, that carousel was turned off. Carousel was turned off a while ago." and they call someone, and then that someone escorts me into the baggage claim area. And my backpack, it's like one of those hiking backpacks. It was like a 50-liter hiking backpack. That backpack was just sitting in the middle of the room, all at the back of the room. All the lights in that whole area were completely turned off, and my backpack is just sitting in the middle of the room. I was looking for the security tape that was going up around the backpack, but there was no security tape. So I get my backpack, and they say, "You better run." So I start going for it. I get brought back, but don't run in an airport, especially when they already think you're doing something illegal. So they ushered me into this third security check. And there were two women in front of me, and they were older women, probably in their 60s. And they said to the man, "Oh, our flight is really soon. We need to go." And he just ushered them through. And then he gets to me, and he sees my ticket, and he sees when my flight is. And then he proceeds to pull literally everything out of my 50-liter backpack and just put it on the bench. And then he wants me to put it all back in after he's confirmed that it's all just clothing and shoes. So I'm stuffing it back in. As meanwhile, he's standing there with his arms crossed, looking at the person behind me waiting, looking at me as in, "Can you do this faster?" It's this backpack was packed in a very specific way that would allow all of these clothes to fit, and the backpack still clothes. So no, I can't do it any faster. Then I go up these secret back stairs up to another spot where I can check my backpack back in so that I can then get on my flight. And I've checked, they've put it in, then I'm going, and it was Terminal 24. And I was looking at this section, and it was this was Terminal 20 to Terminal 28. It was Terminal 24 to Terminal 28. And I thought, awesome, my terminal's going to be the one right at the front. No, apparently they numbered it backwards. So I had to run past Terminal 28, Terminal 27, Terminal 26, Terminal 25, till I got right to the very end of this massive corridor where Terminal 24 was. The plane is ready to go. I quickly show my ticket. They're like, "Oh, gosh. Quickly, get on." So I hop on. I'm looking for my chair. A woman is sitting in my chair. There's a woman just sitting in my spot. And it was one of those smaller planes. So there were two seats on one side and one seat on the other side. And this woman didn't want to sit in her allocated chair, so she sat in my chair instead. I said, "Oh, sorry, this is my plane. This is my ticket. This is my seat." So she's like, and she gets up and goes to her seat. Or she goes to find someone else's chair to steal. I'm not exactly sure what. I get there. I'm in. Thank goodness. There's another hour flight until I get to Tulsa. And I'll be good. Get to Tulsa. Off I get. No more issues with security or security checks. I'm standing there at the carousel waiting. I'm the only one standing there at the carousel waiting. The lights turn off. I look around and there's not even another person in my immediate vicinity. My bag didn't make it on the flight because I'd checked it in way too late for some reason. So I then try and call my friend who's picking me up. We flew into Oklahoma City, and then she was coming from Tulsa to pick me up and go back to Tulsa. We flew from Houston. So I don't have mobile service because I don't have an American SIM card. The Wi-Fi in Oklahoma City Airport turns out garbage. So I walk to the parking lot, 5-6 minute walk to the parking lot, because it turns out the parking lot has better Wi-Fi than the actual terminal itself. And I try and call my friend who's driving. "Hey, I don't have my bag. I have no way of getting in contact with you. I don't have a phone number. I'm not going to have internet. Just hopefully you can find me at the baggage claim location." Finally get there because she has all of her address details. The air service said, "We will get your bag to you as soon as possible." Give us your address and we'll just get it there. So every time I've ever flown, I've always made sure to pack like an extra change of clothes and underwear in my carry-on bag, just in case my bag gets lost. Except this time. This was the only time I've never done that, because I thought, I've flown many, many times. My bag has never been lost. I won't need that extra change of clothes and underwear. She'll be right, mate. She'll not be right, mate. So with a piece of paper, meeting up with my friend, we drive back to Tulsa. The next day at like 7 p.m., I hear a knock on the door, and we're thinking, this has surely got to be my bag. And open the door. My bag is just sitting there right at the door. I look out. The sun is setting on the horizon. The man, just a silhouette of a man from like, I don't know, Delta Airlines baggage delivery service. But it was the most beautiful silhouette of a man I'd ever seen, as he's hunched back, just walked away because he had more bags to deliver, because it turns out there were many people who didn't get their luggage that day. And then I was able to change my clothes, and it was it was great. But far out, never fly to America having been unemployed. And don't use a dead relative as an excuse. They don't buy it. They do not buy it. Goodness gracious. But that's it from me. That's my story. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good one, everyone. Bye-bye. I'm going to play the outro song again because it feels weird with the silence. No, that's the intro song. Close. Outro song again. Play. But bye, everyone. Bye.